Welcome back to Have More Babies. We're here to take your curiosity, look at the sources you've gathered, and really pull out the key insights for you quickly.
And today we're tackling something that feels almost old-fashioned, but is actually super important for kids navigating the, digital world, email.
Right. It sounds basic, maybe, but we're looking at sources from Omega Pediatrics about teaching email etiquette and, crucially, figuring out when kids should even start. It's a big jump from, quick DMs.
It really is. And what's interesting is how email forces a different kind of thinking compared to instant messages. It's asynchronous, it demands more structure, a certain formality even.
Yeah, formality and responsibility, not things you always associate with, say, texting.
Exactly. So this conversation is pretty vital, actually, for parents trying to equip their kids for, well, life, for school, for jobs later on.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're essentially talking about a foundational skill. Communicating with teachers, maybe colleges down the line, first jobs.
Right.
So the big questions are, when do we start? And how do we, make sure they don't write an email subject line like it's a TikTok caption?
Huh. Right. It's about building that different mindset early, ideally.
So the sources from Omega Pediatrics, they don't give one magic number for the starting age, do they?
No, not at all. It's actually quite a wide range. You see mentions of kids starting as young as 6 or 7.
Wow, 6. Really?
Yeah, but it goes all the way up to the early teens. It really hinges less on the actual age and more on the child's maturity level and, importantly, whether they actually need it for something specific.
Okay, maturity makes sense, but what does that look like? Is it just reading and writing?
It's more than that. It connects to things like executive function. Can they follow steps? Do they grasp that an email is, permanent? Once you send it, it's out there.
Right, it's not like a Snapchat message that disappears.
Exactly. So starting at an age where they're ready for that, but with supervision, lets them learn those ideas safely in a low-stakes way.
Okay, I get the low stakes argument, but still, age 6. For parents, juggling school, activities, screen time limits, isn't adding email just
Ah.
another thing, another chore? How do the sources justify that early?
Well, the justification really leans on that supervision aspect. It's not about setting a 6-year-old loose with an inbox.
Okay.
It's more about guided learning. If you wait until, say, high school, when they suddenly need email for college applications or contacting teachers about important stuff,
The stakes are much higher, though.
way higher, and they haven't had the chance to practice to make those small mistakes under guidance. So starting early with heavy supervision is more about teaching the basic structure and rules. They aren't necessarily emailing independently right away.
Ah, okay. That makes more sense. So it's like learning the grammar before writing the essay. We're
Yeah.
teaching the form of email communication early on.
Precisely. And the sources point out some clear benefits beyond just sending messages.
Right. What were those again?
Well, first, there are the core digital communication skills we keep mentioning, the etiquette, the tone.
The professional-ish tone, even for kids.
Yeah. Second, it gives them a sense of, appropriate independence.
Mm.
Having your own inbox, even a monitored one, feels like a step up.
That's true. And the third one, which I think is maybe overlooked sometimes.
The impact on writing skills.
Yes. Because unlike texting with abbreviations and, emojis.
Email forces more structure.
Yeah.
You need complete sentences, proper grammar, maybe even paragraphs to explain something clearly. It directly helps their writing overall.
It makes them organize their thoughts, right? Like you need an opening, the main point, a closing.
Exactly that structure.
Yeah.
You state your purpose, you provide context, you sign off properly. That whole logical flow is often missing in quick chats.
But this is a big but. In the sources, none of this matters without supervision.
Absolutely non-negotiable. Whether you start at 7 or 12, the sources are really clear. It has to be supervised. You need clear guidelines, parental oversight. Otherwise, the risks definitely jump up. So let's talk about those rules. Email etiquette. It's basically the social code for emailing, right?
Yeah, the unwritten, well, sometimes written rules of how to behave.
And it's crucial because how kids learn to email young, that often sticks. It shapes how teachers, colleges, employers see them down the road.
Okay, so beyond just be nice, which is obvious, what are the etiquette points kids struggle with most, especially coming from texting and DMs?
One of the biggest things the sources highlight isn't even the main message body. It's the packaging.
Packaging.
Yeah, specifically the subject line. Mastering the subject line is like step 1.
Really? Why the subject line? Seems minor.
Think about it from the receiver's end. A teacher, a professional, they get tons of emails. If yours has a blank subject or something vague like just question or help,
It might get lost or ignored, or at least put to the bottom of the pile.
exactly. It's like a mini pitch. Kids need to learn the subject line should be super specific, concise. It tells the recipient immediately what the email is about. Saves them time.
Okay, that's a really good practical tip. So instead of just homework, maybe something like, question about math assignment due Friday.
Perfect. That's the idea. And the other rules kind of flow from that need for clarity and respect for the other person's time.
Like using proper grammar and punctuation, no text speak.
Definitely. No you for you, no random abbreviations,
Hmm.
and maintaining a professional or at least respectful tone, always courteous.
Okay, but professional tone. How do you explain that to a 10-year-old? It sounds so corporate.
Yeah, that's a fair point. You teach it with examples and context. They need to get that how you write an email changes massively depending on who you're writing to.
Right, the audience matters.
Huge deal. A good exercise is using hypotheticals, role-playing almost.
Give me an example. How would you show that?
Okay, imagine young Sarah needs to email her soccer coach, Mr. Jones, because she'll miss practice. Her instinct might be, hey, Coach Jay, can't make practice 2 p.m. today. See you next time. Res.
Sounds like a text message. Quick, informal.
Right. But the appropriate email tone would be more like, subject. Absence from soccer practice today. Sarah Miller. Dear Coach Jones,
Yeah.
I am writing to let you know that I will be unable to attend soccer practice this afternoon. Thank you, Sarah Miller.
Wow, okay. Seeing them side by side, it's night and day. It's about clarity, respect, giving all the needed info up front.
Exactly. And it respects the coach's time. He instantly knows who it is, what it's about, no decoding needed. This is also where you introduce the idea of an email signature.
Even for a kid.
Yeah, a simple one. Just first name, last name, maybe grade or team name. It adds that little bit of completeness, makes it look like they thought it through, finishes the message properly.
Getting these basics down, especially that idea of shifting tone for the audience that builds habits that are useful forever, right? Academically, professionally.
Absolutely. They're learning that communication isn't one size fits all. Context is everything.
All right, so we've covered the how to write it. Now let's shift to the scary part for many parents.
Okay.
Safety and security. Once they have this tool,
Yeah, this is where the parental anxiety often kicks in, and understandably so. When a child has an independent way to communicate online, safety has to be front and center.
so what are the absolute must-teach rules here? The non-negotiables for digital safety.
Number one, without a doubt, privacy. They have to understand, deeply understand, never share their email address randomly. Never give out personal info like phone number, address, school name to strangers online, especially if someone asks out of the blue in an email.
Okay, privacy first. What's next? Probably links and attachments.
Exactly. The classic online dangers. They need to learn basic security hygiene. Recognizing phishing attempts, emails trying to trick them into giving info or clicking bad links.
So the rule is, if you don't know the sender or it looks weird,
Don't open it, don't click anything, don't download attachments. The safest bet is to just delete it, or even better, show it to a parent before doing anything.
and that brings up the parents' role. It's not just set it and forget it, is it?
Not at all. Ongoing monitoring is crucial. Parents need to be the safety net.
Yes.
Well, partly it's checking in, maybe reviewing the inbox together occasionally, depending on age and maturity. But mostly it's about creating an environment where the child feels totally safe coming to you if they get an email that makes them feel uncomfortable, confused, or scared.
Right, without fearing they'll just lose email privileges immediately.
Precisely. They need to know you're there to help them navigate it, not just punish.
Okay, so for parents listening who are thinking, all right, maybe my child is ready and they want to set up an account. The sources gave steps, right? We don't need every click, but what's the core process, the principles behind it?
Yeah, the sources do lay it out. We can boil down the detailed steps, like the 7 steps often listed, into maybe 3 key principles for parents.
Okay, what are they?
Principle 1. Start with parental control. You, the parent or guardian, must initiate the child's account setup from within your own email account's family settings. Doesn't matter if it's Gmail, Yahoo, whatever. You link it to your control panel first.
Got it.
Yeah.
So the child isn't just creating a rogue independent account somewhere.
Correct. Principle 2. Ensure verifiable identity. When you add them, you use their real name, real birth date. This is important because it flags the account as belonging to a minor, which often triggers specific child safety features built into the email service itself, things an adult account wouldn't have by default.
Makes sense. And the third principle.
Activate and configure monitoring. The last crucial step isn't just picking a password, it's actually going into those parental controls you just linked and setting them up. This lets you manage things, maybe who they can email, approve contacts, review messages if needed, set time limits. You actively configure the safety net.
So parental control first, verify identity, activate monitoring. That framework ensures it's set up manageably and safely from the get-go.
Exactly. It puts the structure in place before they even send their first email. Hashtag tag outro.
So when we boil it all down, introducing email, it's not just like giving your kid a new app. It's really about a guided entry into a more formal, structured way of communicating online.
Right. It needs that responsible supervision, strong rules about etiquette, and crucially, those safety protocols baked in from the start. It's a step towards digital independence, but a very structured one.
And thinking bigger picture, teaching this stuff, the etiquette, the safety, it's really teaching deeper skills, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's teaching critical thinking. Should I click this? Is this email appropriate? It's teaching respect for others online. It's learning how to adjust your communication style, your tone, based on who you're talking to. That's a huge life skill.
Yeah, knowing the difference between emailing your grandma and emailing your teacher, or later, your boss.
That ability to code switch, essentially, between informal chat and formal communication.
And here's maybe a final thought for you listening. The sources suggest that mastering that switch, that pivot between informal texting and formal emailing, it's not just nice to have anymore. It's rapidly becoming a basic, essential skill for school, for college, for pretty much any job in the modern world.
Well said. Your child's ability to make that contextual jump effectively could really impact their opportunities later on.
So if you want more details, practical tips, maybe checklists for maturity or those setup guides.
You should definitely check out the resource we've been drawing from. Go to omegapediatrics.com. They have some really fantastic, helpful stuff for parents navigating all these digital stages.
Yes, omegapediatrics.com. And hey, if this conversation was helpful for you, if it sparked some ideas, please do us a favor.
Take a second to like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
And share this with other parents, anyone else who might be wrestling with when and how to introduce their kids to email.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
We really appreciate it. We'll see you on the next deep dive.